Hey, welcome back to Cash Flow. We're going to be a little bit off the normal topics here, but this is so critical that I have to share it. And the bottom line is, AI is going to replace you if you let it. And you are absolutely in control of whether or not that happens. So we're going to talk through here today some examples of why AI can help you and how it can help you and how you can leverage it. And then give you at the very end of this an action plan. Very simple, few-step action plan that you can take so that you don't get left behind. And if you look at some of the literature right now, in fact, today is, I don't know when you're listening to this, but it's October 23rd of 2025, and an article came out saying that literally 52% of businesses are using AI today. Now, I don't know how you feel about that, but I feel that's massive, and it's only going to increase. And 50% is a pretty significant usage for a relatively new technology tool. But here's the thing about technology tools today. They're evolving faster and faster and faster and faster. So the longer you take to get on the train, the faster you're going to have to run alongside it and try and jump on once it's going downhill and you don't stand a chance. All right, so let's get you ahead of the game. It might not be today that your competition's outdoing you with AI, but it's going to happen. And here's the thing. Your business isn't competing against AI. You're competing against businesses who are integrating AI. And what you need to do is do the same thing. Like I said, above 50% of small businesses are using it today. That's actually from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. So that is a real concrete number. It's actually 58% if you want to get technical. So we're way on the other side of this being something that you can ignore. Then again, you do have a couple of options, and option one is to ignore it. Call it a fad, keep doing it the old way, and watch your clients slowly drift off to the people who get it. And that's where we get to option two. You can learn to use AI literally in the next 30 days and become one of the providers competing with AI in your arsenal as opposed to trying to compete against people who are smart enough to do it. Today we're going to talk about option two. So let's deal with the wake-up call. And I'm going to paint a picture of what might be happening in your industry. I've got a few examples here. Let's say you're a copywriter, and copywriters are particularly sensitive to this, and I recognize that. And we're going to talk about why we're not going to take the you out of your copywriting towards the end of this. So turn this off, if you will, at your own peril. But right now, let's say it takes you 3 hours to write a website page and you charge $500 for it. I can tell you your competitor right now is using ChatGPT or Claude or Grok to get a first draft of that website in 3 minutes. Then they spend their 45 minutes editing and refining and putting that personality into it, putting that brand into it. And they're charging $400 instead of your $500 because they can afford to. They're booking 6 clients in the time it takes you to do one. So who's winning? Okay, the one who's integrating AI. Let's take another example. Let's say you're a consultant and you spend 2 hours researching industry. This is what I do. Researching industry trends, not anymore. Researching industry trends, getting ready for a client meeting so that you understand their business, how they fit in their business, how they fit in their market. Whether you're a finance consultant or a marketing consultant or a strategic consultant, you need to really understand the context that your potential client or your client's operating in. Your competitor is using AI to very quickly analyze 50 industry reports. You tell it which ones. It does it in 10 minutes and gives you a highlighted summary with insights. That would have taken you the 2 hours to maybe get half as good. Okay? Who's more valuable? The consultant who is taking 2 hours to read through maybe 20 reports and maybe missing some of the most important features, or the consultant that's using AI, telling it what to go look at, having it extract the pieces they need to review, and giving them a summary. And that's not to say they use it verbatim. They're going to add their own intellect and curiosity and questions to it and refine it. But they've taken a 2-hour mediocre task, or a 2-hour task with a mediocre outcome, and turned it into a 45-minute task with an excellent outcome. Let's talk bookkeeping. This is in my space, right? So you're taking 5 hours a month to categorize a client's transactions. You're looking at each one when it comes in, you're deciding where it goes. Maybe you're using the rules in QuickBooks or Xero. You're calling your client every week and asking them for help to understand where things should go. Your competitor's actually setting up an AI scheduling tool that's doing it automatically. It saves about 2 hours per client, let's say, and it gets you working in much higher value work. Which one's better, right? And the list goes on and on. Virtual assistants, you're manually scheduling meetings for people as opposed to using an AI scheduling tool, which can reduce your time by 2-3 times, okay? So I got example after example, but those are some of the basic ones. Consultants, bookkeepers are key. Marketing agencies. It's a lot of people who listen to this podcast, so I wanted to talk on those specifically. So I want to move away from the doom and gloom and talk about how you can take advantage of this wave and how you need to take advantage of this wave if you really want to be here. AI is not replacing you, okay? It's enhancing what you can do. It's handling the boring parts of the job. We all have those parts of the job that we hate doing. There's an AI for that. The expression used to be in my day, there's an app for that, there's an app for that. Well, now there's an AI for that. All of those boring things that apps made better for us with our iPhone when they first started happening back in the, late 20s, now, or 2010s, I'm not even sure when that happened. I'm so used to apps now. Now AI is doing that as well. AI is creating those apps, creating those learning models that can make those tasks faster and faster. So you're not being replaced. It's getting the junk work off your plate. So let's go back to some examples, and I want to use, let's talk about client communication. So some of the best tools here are ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. And I know I would fuss with writing emails forever. I would just try to get the wording exactly right, the tone exactly right. I don't want to insult, but I do want to push. I don't want to sell, but I do want to offer value. All of those things. What I can do now is literally dump the talking points into a prompt. Just say, I want to cover this, 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 and this. I want it to sound this way and not that way. Or I want it to be this long and this short. I want an executive summary. I can just really give it whatever prompts I want. I maybe can even have it create a proposal for me. I may be able to even have it take my meeting notes and summarize them for me in a perfect tone. Since I've been doing this personally, I know I've saved at least 8 hours a week, probably much more. But if the place I found the most value with it is if I'm struggling for exactly the right words for an email, I'll literally draft a very rough version with no concern about tone, drop it in 3 different, I use Claude, Grok, and ChatGPT, drop it in all 3, and one of them is going to give me a perfectly written email that I can tweak a little bit. It's got all my content in it. They've just put the tone and all the professionalism in it, or the casual in it, if that's what I'm asking for. And it saved me probably an hour of nitpicking to perfection, right? Then I can just edit it. And it's primarily done in 5 or 10 minutes instead of taking an hour like it used to. Same thing with drafting a proposal, same sort of thing. A second one is research. This is huge, right? I do a lot of research in my business. I have to. What are the loan rates? Who are the best lenders now? Where's the market having financial troubles? Where's the economy where are things happening in the economy that are going to support my clients? Where are things happening that are going to cause problems for my clients? I have now set up a set of sources that I would normally look at myself, and every day I have my AI go through and say, hey, give me the highlights for today and how it affects my clients. I don't use my actual client names. I use fake names and tell them what industry they're in. And boom, I get a report every morning that says, hey, here's what's happening that's impacting, client A, client C, client D. You'll want to share this information. And boom, I have an email I can send them at that point. Say, hey, just wanted to let you know this popped up in such and such a paper today. It might have an impact on you. Here's what we can do to address it. Huge value add that I could never do on my own. Imagine if you could do that for any of the clients you're consulting for, no matter what your topic is. It might be finance, it might be marketing, it might be strategy, it might be bookkeeping, who knows? It might be a virtual assistant. Do that. What resources, if you had all the time in the world, what would you look at every morning to add value, to find information to add value to your clients? You could literally touch your clients every day if you wanted to. That might be overkill for some, but certainly once a week you can touch every client with some relevant, actionable piece of information. Why? Because of AI. And again, the tools I use, ChatGPT, Claude, and Grok are the ones that I use. It's interesting. I find that they kind of, sometimes I'll lean towards one, sometimes I'll lean towards the other, but I've actually probably tripled the time I need to spend on these things because I do drop almost every prompt in all 3. And until I narrow down which one's better for which type of question, I'll probably keep doing that.